Hey guys, my name is Kevin and welcome back to another album review where today I'm talking about the new album from Coldplay, Everyday Life. So the British alternative rock band is back with a new album after announcing that their previous album, A Head Full of Dreams, might potentially be their final album. But the supporting tour for that album was so successful, and it's still one of the best-selling tours ever. Now let me tell you this. I haven't really been a big Coldplay fan. I only know some of their songs, how they sound like. A Sky Full of Stars was mostly produced by Avicii, rest in peace. And I also know Adventure of a Lifetime, an amazing disco track. I sometimes heard it on the Hungarian radio, which was cool. But let me tell you this. Next year, I will be a big Coldplay fan. I will get lots of their CDs, and you will see about it next year. Maybe I'll do a whole Coldplay discography review starting with Parachutes on its 20th anniversary. Who knows? We'll see about it. But let me tell you this. Even though I haven't really been a Coldplay fan, let me tell you this. I know that this new album, most of the tracks on this new album, Everyday Life, sound nothing like Coldplay. Like, seriously. Like, on their A Head Full of Dreams tour, they went to Asia. The Asian leg of of the tour was pretty successful. And I guess Everyday Life is kind of like Coldplay's take on world music and Asian music and other different types of music. There's lots of genres to be found on this album. Really, there's rock, there's pop, there's gospel, there's classical, though it's really only the intro and sometimes some other parts. There's there's just a lot. There is a lot of music, like different genres on this album. Uh, so much so that I could probably call it an experimental album because this album sounds nothing like Coldplay. I mean, most of the songs on this album don't. There's only a few songs that really sound like Coldplay, Coldplay-ish. But we'll get to those. This new album is split into two parts. One is called Sunrise, the other is called Sunset, obviously. Let's just go down track by track. Let's start with the Sunrise section. Sunrise is the opening track, apparently. Composed by Davide Rossi, who helped Coldplay a lot since their fourth album, Viva la Vida, or Deaf and All of His Friends. Is that what it's called? I don't know. But Davide Rossi has helped out Coldplay a lot. And this intro, Sunrise, is mostly composed by him. It's just him. It's an intro to the album. There's nothing really much to say here other than it's beautiful. And then there's the real opener, Church, which actually does it kind of sound like Coldplay, and it sounds really cool. And then Trouble in Town tends to talk about more serious topics, like serious problems in the world. And I do really like it. There's like a breakdown at one part which just sounds amazing. And I just love it. This song is pretty cool. And then there's Broken, which is a very weird track. It sounds like Chris Martin and a gospel choir just being in the studio and just singing a song. I mean, it does kind of put me in a good mood, but at the same time, it is just so absurd. I don't even know how much I'm gonna listen to it, other than other, um, I don't know how much I'm going to listen to it outside of the context of the album, but it's alright, but it's not fantastic or anything. It's really absurd. And then there's Daddy, which, after a happy song, it turns kind of sad. This song, Daddy, is very sad. Chris Martin is just calling out to his father who, like, went missing, or whom he hasn't seen in a very, very long time, but, like, it's very sad, and it's also kind of ambient. Most of the music on this album also sounds really ambient. And then there's an interlude called I don't even know how it's called. I'm gonna look in the lyric book. Like, seriously, the packaging for this album is the most beautiful packaging I have seen this year. It's definitely one of the best packagings I've ever seen. So the interlude, and also the CD of this album in this limited edition cover, I think, is tucked here into the back. But anyway, after Daddy, there is an interlude which is only about 1 minute long, and it's called Wonder of the World / Power of the People, and it just sounds like Chris Martin with an acoustic guitar out in the open. It's just him, I guess. And it's just 1 minute. It's just a minute long, and then it like fades out, I think, and then the next track is Arabesque, which is, oh my god, it is good. This song is the longest on the album at 5 minutes and 40 seconds, and it freaking deserves to be. Like, this track is just so freaking amazing. There are so many parts of this song that I absolutely love. This song is like an instant 10 out of 10 for me. When I first heard it, I was like, that was actually the first time I had heard that Coldplay are actually coming back. This is the first song I heard from them. Um, After their comeback. This is their first song that I've heard. But anyway, so Arabesque, this song is just absolutely amazing. The second verse is sung in French by a Belgian singer called Stromae. Is that how you say it? I have no idea. But seriously, so many parts of this song are so amazing. This track is like a 10 out of 10 for me, as I said. There are so many parts of it that are amazing. Apparently, there are some strings on this track, composed by David Rossi. But there's also like saxophones on this song, which are just absolutely awesome to listen to. This whole track is just amazing. But unfortunately, then it ends abruptly, and it's interrupted by "When I Need a Friend," which ends the sunrise section of the album. Now, "When I Need a Friend," this is another track with a gospel choir, but it's a much more serious one, more serious than "Broken," that's for sure. But like when I need a friend, it's just like it's a freaking church song. It sounds like a church song. I don't really like this track. It's probably my least favorite from the entire album. I'm sorry. Even though it does sample like a foreign movie at the end. I don't know what it's called again, but it sounds really cool. I mean, no, I mean the sample is kind of nice. The track, as I said, sounds like a church song, and I don't really like it. And then there's the sunset version side of the album, or actually, after "When I Need a Friend," there's 16 tracks on the album, right? But when I listened to the CD, it showed 24 tracks, and that's because there was the first 8 tracks and the final 8 tracks, and then there's tracks 9 to 16, which is like field recordings and bells ringing. Like, that is pretty freaking weird. Like, I have no idea what happened there. But anyway, then there's the sunset side of the album, and it starts out with guns, which is just awesome. It's just 2 minutes long, and it's obviously just mocking people who, are just who think guns will solve all their problems. Chris Martin is even dropping some F bombs on this song. Wow, like this track is pretty intense, even though it's just like a guitar, I suppose. Chris Martin and an acoustic guitar and some other parts. I have no idea really. But then there's Orphans, another song that sounds kind of like Coldplay, and this track is very weird. It's really poppy. It's very pop sounding. It was also co-written by Max Martin, who, as you may know, helped out with many pop singers' works, like Ariana Grande and many others. But like this song is just so freaking absurd, and it's just so fun. Like there's the woo woo woos in the track that are just fun, and yeah, this song is just random as hell, and I love it. And then there's the song Echo, which is another one of those like acoustic guitar pieces, I suppose. It sounds cool, but it's really not the best thing ever. And then there's Cry Cry Cry, which is like a remake of Cry Baby, like a song that Janis Joplin had recorded, but that was released after, but that song was released as a single after her death, so whatever. So this remake of Cry Baby called Cry 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 is it's alright. It's pretty good, and it sounds, yeah, it just sounds good. It's alright. And then there's Old Friends, which is kind of weird. I mean, it has some guitars in the background, but the guitars kind of feel like that they're just there in the track. And Chris Martin's just talking about an old friend whom he just really wants to visit again and such. It's not really that impressive. And then there's a weird track called with something a track that translates to "Children of Adam" because it's a poem called Bani Adam, an Iranian poem, I suppose. The first half of this like I don't know ambient track is just like a piano like a piano track, and then the second half it features some really solid production and the voice of like a woman reading this poem in Iranian, of course, or whatever language this is in. I don't know. It sounds okay. The production sounds cool, but like I don't know. The first half of the song, the piano half, kind of ruins it for me. I have no idea, but like the second half is pretty cool. And then there's two last songs. And both of them are really freaking good and actually do sound like Coldplay. Champion of the World and the title track Everyday Life. Champion of the World sounds freaking amazing. It is just so bright and melodic and euphoric, and it just sounds really cool. The production on it is awesome as well. Sorry, I almost burped. And finally, the album ends with Everyday Life, which is just a piano ballad, and Chris Martin's talking about problems that are not so really problematic because these are just everyday problems, kind of. So yeah, I guess that's it. Sorry if this review was complete nonsense and sometimes you didn't understand what I was saying, but I'm sorry. I just really didn't know what to say about this album, really. I didn't know how to review it. John from ARTV reviewed it better. I'm going to link his video in the description. Also, I want to tell you guys something. I'm going to change my ratings. I will no longer be giving out ratings in 256 pies, aka Tommy's style, like 7.7 and such. I will more likely give out ratings in Fantano's style, as in like a solid 6. A solid to light. No, wait, I can't speak today. I will give out reviews in Fantano's like format, like strong 6 to light 7 and such. So anyway, as I said, this review is complete nonsense. But overall, on Everyday Life, as I said, the packaging for this album is freaking beautiful, and I love how this record feels. If you want to get a closer look, you can't really see the text, and it's right there, as I said, I don't think that this will be my favorite Coldplay album. It sounds really good, and I will definitely come back to it. And this is, as I said, this is Coldplay's take on like world music and such. And as I said, most of these tracks do not sound like Coldplay. And also, I will not tell what my favorite tracks are and what my least favorite track is. Though those will be in the description. But anyway, so yeah, this album is really, really good. It's, as I said, it's possibly not going to be my favorite Coldplay album, but it's still a really solid project that is definitely worth listening to. That's why I'm giving this a decent to strong 7 and a recommendation for you guys, because it is a really good album. And as I said, I definitely recommend this for you guys. I definitely recommend that you guys check this out because it sounds really good. Yeah, so as I said, I'm sorry if this review was complete nonsense, but like, I didn't know how to speak today. I didn't know how to speak for this album. As I said, yeah, even now, I don't even know what I'm saying. But like, yeah, so that was my terrible review of Coldplay's Everyday Life. You can disagree with my opinions. You can leave your opinions in the comments down below if you're thoughtful. Yeah, I guess that's it. I will see you next time. I have no idea when, but yeah. See you guys next time. My name is Kevin, and peace out.